Alright, this is a Bloodborne guns only playthrough. I'm gonna play through the whole game with no melee weapons, no items like Molotov cocktails, just guns. And mostly the hunter's pistol, I think. Unless I change my mind. But yeah, the reason I'm doing this is because I was playing on a blood-tinged character that used guns, and I ended up just using guns for a lot of bosses. Just only the guns, not even doing melee attacks. So I think this game actually is a lot easier than I might have thought at first if you use guns. Because for certain bosses, like Ebrietas, which is supposed to be like a super hard secret boss, I ended up only just using Evelyn, the pistol you get at Castle Canehurst, because she's got a weak point on her head, and most bosses, like giant bosses like that you can't parry. So you'd think that the gun would be like useless against them because you can't parry them, but usually you can target their head and does a lot more damage if you shoot their head. So early game you only really have two options for guns, which is the hunter's pistol and the blunderbuss. And the blunderbuss is also good. It's actually probably better than the pistol. It's a lot easier to parry with, and you can also parry more than one enemy at a time because it has like a spread, like a shotgun. But personally I just prefer the hunter's pistol because it's got a faster animation to it. And also for this playthrough it's a lot better because it does more damage than the blunderbuss. So I'm going to use the hunter's pistol for this. So yeah, there's a few bloodstone shards that you can just pick up around the yarn. I'm not going to get all those, or a few, there's enough that you can just pick up that you can upgrade your weapon at least one time. And you can just grind on some of the enemies that drop bloodstone shards if you want to upgrade your weapon more. But I'm not going to do that because it's not worth the time. So I'm going to start off with Father Gascoigne since early on it's better to rely on parrying instead of actual damage, which you need actual damage to be Cleric Beast. And Father Gascoigne's really easy to parry, so this is the best bet, I think, for this run. As you can see, I don't have full blood vials because I'm lazy. Also, I have the music turned up a lot because I think the music in this game is overlooked. Probably mostly because the fucking sound effects are always way louder, so. So yeah, one of the things I do when I play Bloodborne is if I'm using guns, I always get blood vials instead of QS bullets, because there's a mechanic where you press up on the D-pad and you get QS bullets and you lose health. But the amount of health you lose is about one blood vial, and one blood vial, as you can see, costs it only costs 20 more blood echoes than a fucking QS bullet. So getting blood vials is more cost effective than QS bullets, because one blood vial basically equals 5 QS bullets as long as you can do the animation, which that is, I guess, how they balance it, is that the animation can kind of fuck you if you use it at the wrong time. And you can't like do it over and over again to get like 10 QS bullets. You only have 5 of those QS bullets at a time, but you can carry 20 of the regular ones. So in some ways it's better to get QS bullets, but it's more efficient. It's more cost effective. And it also just lets you have way more, because you can only carry 20 QS bullets, but you can carry 20 blood vials, and if one blood vial can give you 5 QS bullets, then that's like 100 bullets, as long as you don't get hit at all, which you probably will, so. So there's Father Gascoigne. I beat him with a melee attack in his pistol-only playthrough, so off to a good start already. So over here, there's a bunch of bloodstone shards that you can pick up. This place is kind of out of the way, but it's worth coming here just because you can avoid a lot of grinding bloodstone shards and get your weapon upgraded for Bloodstarved Beast, which is the next boss. There's 5 right there. There's a few new weapons you can get once you get to Old Yarna if you kill the guy who's shooting right now. There's the rifle spear, which is technically a gun, but I'm not going to use in this playthrough because it's a melee weapon. There's the stake drive, which I don't really like. I think that's it. Alright, here's Bloodstarved Beast. Hopefully you brought antidotes, because the poison can be really annoying. As you can see, this is not my first attempt. Bloodstarved Beast is pretty easy to parry. It's even easier to just charge attack on his back and get a visceral attack off that way, but I'm not going to do that. That's cheating. So there you can see his charge attack. That is an attack that you can parry. I believe you can parry with the blunderbuss, but you can't parry with the pistol, because the blunderbuss is spread. The blunderbuss can hit with its spread, yeah. But with the pistol, you just have to dodge it. The blunderbuss is good for hitting moving attacks. There's his insta-kill move. And there's Bloodstarved Beast. Probably would have been easier, probably would have been a good idea to bring more blood vials, but whatever, worked out. So once you beat Bloodstarved Beast, this door randomly opens, which can be confusing if you're playing the game for the first time. But if you come up here, you can progress in the game for one, but you can also come up these stairs. It's a nice view up here. And in this chest would be the Radiant Hunter's Badge, I believe, which unlocks a couple new weapons, and also it unlocks Bone Marrow Ash, which is very good for this, because it powers up QS bullets, so you can do a lot more damage with guns if you use those. They're kind of expensive, but they're worth it for this, at least. And if you come down here, you can go to the next boss. There's an amazing platforming section with the great Bloodborne jumping controls. Yeah, I don't know why this part's in the game, to be honest. Bloodborne's controls were not designed for platforming, to say the least. And the rest of the Dark Souls games. So here's a weird enemy. This is the only one of these in the whole game, I believe. And it's very easy to kill if you just charge attack it on the back, and you can do visceral attack. But I'm gonna actually try and fight it. I think these guys are in the Chalice dungeons, I think. I think this is the only one in the base games, though. So, if you don't do the Chalice dungeons, this thing's fucking weird and out of place. It also shoots fire, which I don't think any other enemy in the game does, so... Oh no, the Shadows of Yharnam shoot fire, what am I thinking? That's a boss. I don't know, it's weird either way. So down here you can get these cool clothes that I got. This is a cool area. This is a cool area because it's so dense. So you come up this elevator and you can loop back. And if you pull this lever, then you can open the shortcut to the Cathedral Ward Lantern. And open the shortcut to the Carmelia, the next boss. But now we got Bone Marrow Ash, I'm gonna come back to Yharnam before we do the Carmelia. Central Yharnam, that is. And here's the Cleric Beast. Now you can do this boss first, but if you don't have a melee weapon, you probably won't be able to do enough damage. Unless you grind, maybe if you grind all the, like, max out your weapon with bloodstone shards and you actually bring full blood vials like I don't do. I'm sure 100 if you bring 20 blood vials and 20 QS bullets, it's 120 bullets, so that's probably enough. But yeah, now with Bone Marrow Ash, as you can see, this boss is very easy. If you look up, you can see the church that Vicar Amelia is at in the distance. But yeah, that's Cleric Beast. So as you can see, the cutscene's playing, so I actually did beat Vicar Amelia first try, which is surprising because I've never done that before. This is usually a pretty hard boss, so hopefully that puts into perspective how good guns are on these giant enemies, because you can target their heads. And I'm pretty sure that is Vicar Amelia, like you can parry her when you do that, when she does that, but I don't know how to parry Vicar Amelia. I've played this game like 5 times now already. I don't know how to fucking parry Vicar Amelia. One of the things I like about the guns in Bloodborne... Oh, there she's going. One of the things I like about the guns in Bloodborne is that in Dark Souls, the bow and arrow, it like has like a first-person view, but the guns in this game don't have a first... They're just like you lock on and then you... It makes it a lot more similar to like melee weapons. It makes it... combines it much better with the actual combat of the game. It's not just like basically changing the whole game when you use a ranged weapon. But the Dark Souls games do have the like soul arrows and stuff, and magic and pyromancy and all that. So I like that they made the guns more like those. They kind of combined the magic and shields with the parrying in Bloodborne to make guns. So I'm glad that they did that instead of just completely changing the game. And there's Vicar Amelia with blood vials to spare. Alright, so now I'm going to do Witch of Hemwick, which is kind of a shitty boss, and not a fan, but it's worth doing because there's a lot of good stuff locked behind Witch of Hemwick, especially for this run. It's a lot of good stuff. There's the fucking you have to do Witch of Hemwick to go to... Witch of Hemwick is completely optional, but... so you can skip it if you really want to. But I think most people will probably end up killing her, just because there's... The fucking Rune Workshop tool is locked behind Witch of Hemwick, which is strange, because that seems like it's kind of a central RPG mechanic to this game. And that's specifically really good for this run, because there's a few runes you can get that, there's one of them that lets you get health from visceral attacks. So that combos really well with the sacrifice health from for bullets move, because you don't even have to rally your health back. You can just do it, and then once you parry someone, you can just get your health back for free, and you can basically just get free bullets forever by doing that without even having to rally your health back. So that's good for this, because this run especially. And then there's also one that just increases the power of visceral attacks. So if you're doing visceral attacks in any shape or form, it's good to get to do Witch of Hemwick, even though she sucks. So I don't know if anyone actually kills these guys, but I've never kill her minions. I always just go for her. There's a weird thing with Witch of Hemwick where she can spawn. Eventually you'll notice that there's like 2 of them, and I think like you can, I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I've had it sometimes where where like once you get the first one low enough, the second one will spawn, and then just like you could get like I think she like spawns a new, like they can spawn another Witch of Hemwick if you don't kill them fast enough. I think it can go on for a long time. I had to have like 5 in a row, kill 5 Witch of Hemwicks in a row, which is weird because it's called the Witch of Hemwick, and there's multiple of them, and the kind of signifies that there should be one of them. But yeah, I hate this fucking boss. She's got that move where she, a good thing to do, I'm using the gun, so I don't want to do this. Yeah, she's got that stupid move. A good thing to do is, you can just, charge back attacker, and then visceral attacker, but I'm using the gun, so I want to avoid doing that, because, see look, there's the third fucking Witch of Hemwick. Yeah, just charge back attacker and visceral attacker, and that does quite a bit of damage, and then she teleports away, so. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Witch of Hemwick, and I'm also not a fan of this whole area, Hemwick Lane. It fits in with the whole like theme of like gothic. It would be the whole Bloodborne is like werewolves and zombies and fucking demons, and I guess it kind of fits in that there's a witch, even though she's not like a broom witch, like a Halloween witch. She's kind of like a hunchback, like Dark Souls thing. So it fits in with the game. It's thematically appropriate, at least aesthetically, but it's not as cool as big cathedrals and stuff. So here's the Rune Workshop tool, which is really good. I also get this place confused a lot with the place from Dark Souls 3, similar kind of shit town. Alright, so now it's time for an actual good boss. This is one of my favorite bosses in the game, actually. I've always been a fan of the multiple enemies bosses in From Software games. Like Ornstein Smo is a cool boss. and Ruined Sentinels from Dark Souls 2. You know, I think a lot of people don't like that. I think it's cool because it just adds the fact that you can visceral attack them too. Because I think any boss in this game that you can visceral attack or parry, I think that just adds more to it, more options. But this boss, there's a lot of different strategies you can go at it depending on the build you're doing. For this build, I'm gonna go for this sword guy that you can parry. There's a lot more opportunity to parry him, rather, because I think you can parry all of them, all 3 Shadows of Yharnam. But this guy is the most vulnerable to parrying, and since I'm parrying a lot, I'm going to go for him. But depending on your build, if you're doing just like a melee attack build, you probably want to go for that fireball guy first, because he's kind of a pain in the ass. But yeah, or you could go for that other guy, but the guy who's like a mix between the two of them, because he also does a lot of melee attacks. But yeah, this is also one of the hardest bosses in the game. This is, when I do playthroughs, this is usually where I get stuck and then I have to come back later, especially because of this phase that's happening right now. But yeah, this tombstone right here is really good to try and separate them and deal with them somewhat individually. This boss also doesn't take too long. For the shadow, there's not a whole lot of health, especially individually. So second off, I'm gonna take this guy who also does a lot of melee attacks, although not as many, because I can parry him. This is another boss that isn't too bad on this, with this Gunslinger build. Except for the last guy, which I'm gonna save my Bone Marrow Ash for, because that can be rough. Especially when you start spawning the fucking insta-kill snakes. Yeah, fuck it, I hate that. I hate their long-ranged melee attacks. Can fuck you over. So this guy's fireballs are super fucking annoying to deal with. And that's why I usually kill him first, but they are avoidable if you just gotta pay attention. You just dodge through them. This is that guy can sometimes not do a whole lot of. He can go a while without doing any melee attacks, so you don't want to just be waiting for him to parry at all times. Sometimes it's just better to attack. So this whole area, I forget what, the Forbidden Woods, it's kind of similar. I think it's kind of just like a better version of Hemlock Lane, because Hemlock Lane, I don't know. I think they both are kind of like the whole theme of fucking the whole like I don't know fucking haunted theme of Bloodborne, Halloween spookiness. I think it'd be kind of incomplete without a spooky forest. So I'm glad that that's in the game. Also, yeah, you really want to fucking once they start spawning snakes, you wanna kill them as fast as you can, because you can dodge them, but they're hard to dodge, the snakes. Anyway, here's a nice view. Here's another somewhat shitty boss who's not interesting at all to play with the gun. You literally fucking you fight exactly the same as with a melee weapon. So yeah, this boss, I think the arena looks really nice, but I think Rom especially is a bad boss in my opinion, because he's got so much health and there's not a whole lot of different strategies. It is somewhat, I think it is kind of interesting though, that just like having to look for an opening with all this tiny spiders and having to just, you can't really get rid of them. You can, but it's a real big pain in the ass to just like constantly kill them over and over, and he spawns more later on, so that's kind of not an optimal way of fighting him. So you just want to look for an opening, because they kind of wander around a bit. They try this tiny spider. They usually try and like stick around them, but they wander around a bit. So yeah, the only real he does like start doing attacks later on once you do a bit of damage to him, like this, which I guess is it's somewhat interesting. It's not just, it at least is better than him fucking just looking for an opening in the spiders and then like getting like a few hits off and then running back over and over again for fucking for a long ass time. But most of them slow down the boss fight even more, because he's got like two of them. Like this one is he's got this one which like you have to run away from, but he's also got two attacks which are just like AoE around him that you just have to run away, so you got even less fucking opportunity to attack him. So yeah, this boss can take quite a while, and these fucking little spiders can also one-shot you if you're not careful. And also this. But I don't think this is inherently a terrible idea. The whole looking for an opening in the minions. There's a similar boss in Demon Souls, I think. I haven't played that game a whole lot, but that one is better, I think. It's another boss that there's no way to visceral attack him at all. He is technically, he's a spider though, I guess. He's a spider. He doesn't fucking look like one, but he's called the Brahm the Vacuous Spider, so I guess he fits in to the fucking spooks and ghouls of Bloodborne. Although Quellag from Dark Souls 1 is fucking way more of a spider than he is, so
I'm already half down, but this boss can be fucking rough on the bullets. It's such a fucking big damage sponge. I think I just added like more different attacks that didn't have to do with just running away from me. Maybe it'd be more standard. Some way to parry him or this whole attacking. His head is not, unlike most, or not most, but a lot of giant bosses, his head is not even weak pointed. He actually takes less damage from his head, so he's not even using that. Yeah, I think this is by far the longest boss fight, at least for this run. He's got even more spiders now.
Alright, so that's ROM. Fucking 10 minutes. If I had died there, I would have been fucking pissed off. 10-minute fucking boss fight. Doing the same thing over and over. So the next boss after ROM that's required is the One Reborn, which is not, another boss is not super easy on this kinda build, so I'm gonna do a better boss, which is even better, which is very good. This build works pretty good against, which is Martyr Logarius, which is one of my favorite bosses, along with Shadows of Yharnam, and also in my favorite area in the game, or at least one of them, Castle Cainhurst, which is an optional area locked behind Witch of Hemwick. So another reason to do Witch of Hemwick, even though it's a shitty boss, is Martyr Logarius. Martyr Logarius is a very good boss to parry, as you can see. And as you can see, I've from that I've equipped the rune that gives you health from doing visceral attacks. So I got full blood vials, and I just got some using bullets already. So that's why you should get that, especially for this guy, especially on bosses that will probably take a lot of health, because you might end up needing some extra bullets. So this guy's another, like Shadows of Yharnam, he's one of the, in my opinion, one of the hardest bosses in the game, but he's also there's a lot of opportunity to make it easier for yourself. There's a lot of strategies involved, like that. All of his attacks are well telegraphed and easily dodgeable if you know what to do. Like that fucking blast, that one, where he shoots out like 5 skulls. You just dodge forward into it, and sometimes the timing's hard, but if you're close up to him, like I am, because I want him to melee attack me, well, one of the things about it is that if you're fucking close up to him, it doesn't even go through you. And also, yeah, this is a weird fight. Usually he doesn't spawn that sword thing until later on, which I don't know. I think it probably made the fight a bit easier, because For some reason, he also didn't do his empowered form at all in this, but I guess I'll take it, because his empowered form makes him immune to bullets, which is obviously not good. But yeah, that, one thing you might not have known is that sword thing, which spawns, like, projectiles all around it that he puts on the ground, can be shot with the bullets. So it's another way in which the gun is good against him. You don't have to, like, run up to it and melee attack it, which can be a real pain if you don't have a gun. Yeah, I don't know how to avoid that attack. Usually I just dodge roll at a random time and hope it works. Yeah, you really like... Oh, and there it goes. That was weird. But I guess it's beneficial, so... Not complaining. Yeah, he's a lot harder to parry in his second phase because he's got more melee attacks. So it's harder to predict what exactly he's going to do. Well, that fucking giant scythe attack, which is long-ass wind-up fucking telegraph, that is, if you can basically, if you really want to, you can just ignore all his other attacks and just parry that and then beat him. And that's a legitimate strategy. There's also that attack, which the fucking... That attack, yes, this one. Which you can parry, but it's really hard, and it's kind of risky. But it's really cool if you do it. It's cool. I don't even try and parry that one. The sword attack. There we go. Fucking badass. So yeah, luckily he didn't fucking use his form at all in this fight. So we got off kinda easy. But I'll take it. Anyway, so now it's probably the hardest boss in this run. Even harder than Rom. Rom is just long. This guy's actually... I died a lot to him, so... But yeah. One Reborn. When I first fought this guy on my first playthrough of Bloodborne, I didn't even know that you could kill these guys up here. I just thought you just had to deal with their fucking projectiles. And, but yeah, you can just stairs up there and you can kill them, and you don't have to get fucking shot by fireballs all the time. There's some opportunity here, because these guys, you cannot visceral attack the One Reborn, but you can visceral attack these guys, so when you're killing them, you should try and parry them and get some free health off of them if you have the rune. Which is probably... I think it's probably my favorite rune in the game. One of the most interesting ones. Possibly should have just been a regular mechanic, but I guess it kind of would have defeated the purpose of rallying, or made it less good, but it already does that, so. Also, yeah, that's one of the cool things about that rune too, is if you get hit, if you do like a parry, where you also like get hit on the same frame as you do your parry, so you lose health, you can rally all your health back and then gain health, so it can be the difference. Hitting a fucking parry can, if you have that rune, can be the difference between quite a bit of health. which I think is good. I think it makes it more. The whole reason, maybe not the whole, but one of the things about rallying that is good, which sets apart Bloodborne from Dark Souls, is that it makes you play more aggressively, which is cool. I like that. I like it when gameplay kind of influences behavior in a way, in a cool way like that, if you know what I mean. And you know, it might be considered like unintentional. Oh shit. Okay, I live there. That fucking, you can get hit at the same frame you do a parry, but it makes you even more aggressive because it can fucking be the difference between a lot of health. So I think it's good, even if it's unintentional. So I'm already out of bone marrow ash, and I'm fucking 14 blood vials. This guy is the biggest fucking, even more than Rom, he's a giant fucking damage sponge. He's not super bad on melee playthroughs for sure. He's also really weak to fire, so it can be really easy if you just fucking use fire paper, Molotov cocktails, and also attack his limbs, which I'm not doing, because that makes him. I don't think you can visceral attack him. I'm pretty sure you cannot visceral attack this guy at all. But you can. It does like stun him for a second. You can attack the guy, the main guy up there. And he's kind of a weak point, which you'd think the gun would be able to hit him, and that would be an advantage in this fight. But he's too far away to. He's so fucking high up that you can't really hit him. So I just go for this part. So this guy has so much fucking health that it actually is. You do really need to maximize your bullets and try not to get hit. He still doesn't take as much time as Rom though, thankfully. So yeah, I'm trying to visceral attack him here, but I don't think you can. I think you just have to attack the fucking top guy. There's a lot of weird shit like that where fucking bosses look like you could visceral attack them, but you can't. This happens a lot with Vic Armelia too, or maybe you can visceral attack them and I'm just stupid. But it'd be weird if I'm right, then it'd be weird to have fucking the same thing, same looking animation for being stunned and being visceral attacked. Yeah, I fought this guy a few times, and I with full blood vials and just like shooting all my fucking bullets into him, I still couldn't beat him. So that's why I did Martyr Ligarius first, because he's a lot, he's way harder on a normal playthrough than the one Reborn. But in this playthrough, he's by far, he's a lot more vulnerable to the gun. So I got some fucking, I basically grinded on Martyr Ligarius to get blood vials and fucking level up a bit. Also, if you kill Martyr Ligarius, you can get the Pistol Evelyn and a bunch of other good shit. But for this, if you're doing a Gunslinger build, you can get the pistol Evelyn, which is probably better than the Hunter's pistol. Probably by far better, because I think it does mostly the same. It's basically the same thing, but scales higher for blood tinge and with less base damage. So late game, it's better, just a better Hunter's pistol. But I'm still gonna use the Hunter's pistol, and that's fucking the one Reborn. So next is Mikolash, which I think is just kind of like a change in Bloodborne, where it goes from being like spooky, like fucking all the Halloween monsters. It's got giant spiders and fucking witches and fucking spiders and werewolves, to being like Lovecraftian, and there's like aliens and shit. And Mikolash, I think, fits into that aesthetically very well. Just the fact that he's a fucking crazy scientist professor guy. I think he's cool. I think he's probably aesthetically the coolest in the game. And his boss fight is not bad either. Even though it is kind of one of the more scripted ones where you're just like, you just gotta fucking, you just gotta like, more kind of like a puzzle, like Witch of Hemwick is kind of like that too. You gotta run around and find her because she's invisible. But I still think he's good. He's also really fucking vulnerable to the gun, because especially in this phase where he doesn't have his long range attack, you can just fucking once you kill those skeleton guys, you can just shoot him over and over and kill him, and he won't do anything. He'll just stand there and be shot. So yeah, Mikolash, at least in even if you're just fucking doing a regular playthrough, this is broken. This phase, at least. I guess you do have to use a lot of blood vials in order to fucking get the ammo to shoot him. But still. Also, all the attacks that Mikolash has are... like, Mikolash is basically just... you can copy all his attacks on the player character. He has the tentacle thing, which is an arcane thing, and he's got the big, like, shooting a bunch of tiny projectiles thing. And then he's got just melee attacks, so all of those things are things you can just have on a character. Also, if you shoot him multiple times, if you're shooting him after his second phase, then he repeats that voice line a bunch of times, which is weird and probably unintentional. Or maybe, I don't know. It's weird though. But you can shoot him a couple times if you want, while you're chasing him around, trying to lure him into the fucking fighting area. So yeah, this part of the boss, he'll actually melee attack. He won't just spam his tentacle thing. So you can parry him, but I don't think it's worth it, because he attacks really fast. Also, this fucking attack is... it's hard to... first of all, it can insta-kill you, and second of all, it's really hard to dodge. So... another good thing you can do with the gun is you can cancel it. So, you can cancel all of its attacks, I think. But you don't want to get baited into doing that. So even if you're doing like a regular playthrough with a gun on your offhand, that's a good strategy that you can use. Oh, so you can get Mikkel, once you kill him, you get his fucking cage on his head, so you can do Mikolash character if you want. You can basically copy Mikolash in every way and become him. So if you get in the rhythm of it, you can pretty much prevent him from attacking at all. But you gotta be careful, because sometimes he will do like 2 attacks like right in a row, even if you cancel, like right after you cancel one, so you don't wanna... You gotta fucking do shit like heal yourself and get more bullets. And he might attack you while you're doing that, so you gotta be careful. So next is Murgo's Wet Nurse, which is probably one of the easiest bosses in the game. The game kind of, it's weird. The difficulty in this game is like a fucking, it's like a bell curve, where it gets really hard in the middle with fucking Shadows of Yharnam and Vicar Amelia. Also this music, which I never fucking actually... Usually, it's because I have the fucking music turned up on this, I actually noticed it, but I normally don't, which is weird. It's kind of like it's like a fucking music box, which is also the same music box that plays, that you can use against Father Gascoigne, I believe. But, I never noticed it before, because the fucking sound effect is so loud of her slashing and fucking jumping at you. But I guess it's kind of in the Dark Souls FromSoft tradition to have strange boss music or unexpected boss music among the fucking choirs and bombastic screaming, like fucking Gwyn's theme in Dark Souls 1, famously, much more famously than this one. This one's cool too, I think. So yeah, this is one of the easiest bosses in the game, even using the gun. The only real threat is this phase right here, which is what I died to. The only time I died to it on this playthrough. I usually don't die to Murgo's Wet Nurse at all in my playthroughs, but I did die during this phase. And the best strategy is to just run around and wait for it to be over. And there it is. But yeah, Murgo's Wet Nurse is even easier on this playthrough because you don't even have to dodge her fucking obviously telegraphed easy to dodge attacks. You can just stand at gun range and fucking unload onto her. Also, the moon is fucking huge. The moon is not that big in real life, but it's cool looking, I guess. Yeah, the only threats are the purple shadow phase and that teleport behind you move. But you can cancel that by fucking firing into her a bunch sometimes. Not this time. And there she is. Fucking technically the final boss because Gehrman is technically optional, so fucking the technical final boss of the game is super easy. Oh, so this always takes a long time for no apparent reason once you defeat her. So now we're gonna do Gehrman. I'm not gonna cheat and fucking end the game without fucking fighting the actual final boss, which I consider Gehrman to be the final boss, because the fucking one you do with the secret final boss is kind of interesting, but not as good as Gehrman. It's got the cool mechanic where it fucking takes away all your health, and then you have to rally it back, which would be not good for me on this playthrough, because I can't rally my health back super easy. And Gehrman I'm really good against, because he's vulnerable to parrying. And also he has really cool music. And a fucking badass scythe. But yeah, Gehrman I'd say is definitely, he's a good boss, a hard boss too, but once you fucking learn how to parry him, he's fairly easy. I'd say there's definitely harder bosses if you can parry him. Gehrman's also another character that you can copy and do a Gehrman playthrough if you want. Also, I didn't mention this, but Martyr Ligarius is like one of his projectile attacks, like the one where he shoots like 5 skulls out. That's another item you can get, so you can kinda, if you want to be Martyr Ligarius, you can at least have that attack. It's another arcane spell. Yeah, you can copy Gehrman, which I did in one of my playthroughs, because it's got a badass scythe, and even though the scythe is not a particularly interesting weapon in terms of gameplay, it fucking looks badass. And also, it looks really badass just especially like in the running around Yarnum and stuff. I think it's just aesthetically cool. Yeah, that's a fucking really easy to parry attack when he does that barrage. That's also a good time to parry when you fucking oh yeah. That's one of the only attacks that I have no idea how to fucking deal with. I think you're just supposed to run away or dodge through it, but that often kills me. Yeah, that when he hooks you in and like does a fucking slash, that's a good. If you dodge the hook, then it's really easy to parry, but if you try and, you can sometimes accidentally try and parry it, because I just perceive it as a regular attack, and I lose a lot of health. Also, when he rolls at you, he does like a... Sometimes he'll do like a... Yeah, I don't know how the fuck to dodge that. Sometimes he'll either do If he's longer range, he'll usually do a blunderbuss attack, or he'll do, if he's close range, sometimes, well, he'll still sometimes do a blunderbuss attack, but he'll also sometimes do a melee attack. So I think it's worth just trying to parry it, even if you're not sure what it's going to be, because the blunderbuss doesn't actually do that much damage, so it's worth the risk, I think. Yeah, I tried to parry that, and I fucking got hit for it. And there he is. Old Hunter badge. You can get fucking the burial blade with that and look cool. But yep, not gonna do this boss because fuck it. I guess that's it. That's Bloodborne beaten with just the Hunter's pistol.
And so, the hunt begins again.